After my first DXM trip, I was kind of hesitant to try it again. Not only because I threw up and it was kind of lackluster, but also because my mom had found out about it. But she didn't really punish me or anything. And a while after the experience, I was talking with my friend Tony, and I decided, you know what, I will do it again. And this time, I decided to do it at Isaac from the last video's house, and Tony from the last video would also be going. Uh, at this point, Isaac was becoming closer with me, and he was my friend instead of just Tony's friend. But yeah, so the day of the sleepover happens, and I actually eat this morning. I won't get sick this time. And then I went over there, and me and Tony both show up, and then to kill time, his mom takes us to the mall, and we dicked around there for a while, and then eventually I was being an idiot, and they got us kicked out, which I'll talk about in a different video probably, because it's not really related, but his mother was already coming back to pick us up when we got kicked out, so it didn't really matter, and we just went home, or we just went back to Isaac's house, and went down to his basement to get ready, which I want to describe his basement as best as I can before I continue with the story, because it was just really comfy. It had like 3 couches around a coffee table and a TV, and Isaac's computer was down there, and it had that nice basement smell, and there was like old Pepsi merch from the 80s on the wall for some reason, because I guess his mom just likes Pepsi, and it was really, really super comfy and a great place to do a trip in. And yeah, so we just wait for a while until it's later, and we decide to dose. For some reason, I ended up doing a third plat, which was like the second highest plat you can do for DXM, of Polysterix, which is long-acting DXM, which is really weird. I don't know why I did that after having a bad experience or a lackluster experience on first plat, but I think I said that I wanted to do a lot higher dose because I wanted to get visuals, and for some reason Isaac and Tony didn't think that idea was stupid, even though it kind of was, but it was a good trip, so I'm not mad at them. It was just kind of a weird choice. But so yeah, I drank 2 bottles of Delsum, and Isaac did some other syrup up to like I think it was like a mid-second plat or low third plat. And Tony didn't do any DXM, but he did some caffeine pills, and he started writing a trip report on Isaac's computer. And I wish we still had that trip report, but sadly Isaac deleted it off his computer, so if I had it I'd share it with you, but we don't have it anymore. And so after everyone took everything, I went to the bathroom and I came out, and I was starting to feel it a little bit, I think, and Tony was kind of bad vibing me because he was stemmed off the calf and he was like tweaking over the report or some dumb shit, but eventually he calmed down and I laid down and waited for it to kick in, and once it did, I could tell it was a lot stronger than last time. Just everything was getting kind of blurry and I was feeling pretty weird, and I had a really nice body high, and me and Isaac both got up and started fucking around and enjoying the body high and being goobers. I think Isaac hit his hand on like a nail on the ceiling, and he didn't like bleed or anything, but it was just funny. And he was like, "Dude, I hit my hand on a nail," and yeah, that was funny. And after it starts to kick in more for me, I laid back down, and then after it starts to kick in for me more, my memory starts to get super foggy because I'm just really dissociated. So a lot of the stories is basically going to be what I remember. So yeah, but it starts to kick in more. I'm tripping like really hard, and everything's really blurry. I feel weird and dissociated, and like I'm definitely tripping this time, unlike last time. But I went over and talked to Tony for a bit and told him like shit to add in the report, and then I like touched his nose and laughed really hard, and he said, "Wow, you must be having a good time," or something like that. And then I think a while after that, like me and Isaac started watching the new like It movie, like the first one of the newer movies, because it just came out around that time and his mom left it out for us to watch, and I was like way too disso to know what's going on. I only remember like 3 frames of that movie, but what I do remember is Isaac saying the movie was fucking like shit over and over, and me trying to tell him that I think we were just like too zooted to like appreciate it, and that it was probably an okay movie, and him not listening to me. He's like, "This movie fucking sucks." No, dude, this movie's garbage. I don't know how much of the movie we watched or when we turned it off, but like eventually we did, and um, we both just started going back to laying down. I think after that, I started feeling really good, and I started listening to like a chill step mix on my phone with headphones, and I just had a huge, massive wave of euphoria, and the music sounded really good, and I felt really good, and I said out loud to Tony how good I felt, and he wrote on his report, "I think this is the best Psilo has ever felt," and that was just a really good moment in the trip for me, just me feeling super good, and Tony writing that in the report. After that, my memory got even more foggy because I was just super fucking dissociated. I think I like went to the mirror for a second and saw myself, and that was super weird. And then I think like I sat back down on the different couch, and then Isaac was also tripping a lot. He started saying like weird shit, like that his autism was increasing or that he was traveling to other dimensions, and he said like us getting kicked out of the mall didn't feel real, and that it happened like 200 years ago or something. But yeah, after I laid down on that couch, I started feeling really dissociated. I remember instead of thinking like, "Oh, I am myself," I thought, "Oh, the person I'm controlling is named Psilo." And like I remember like moving my blanket felt super weird, and if I like tried to sit up at all or move from my spot, it just felt wrong. So I just sat there for like a long time. And then I think after a while after that, Isaac's brother came home and I said hi to him, but like I was way too high to really realize what was going on. But then Isaac got out his cot and tried to sleep, I think, while me and Tony were talking. And I think we had a good talk, but I don't really remember what we said. And I also remember during it, Isaac kept getting mad at us for talking because he wanted to sleep. So eventually we did stop talking and we both went to sleep. And I woke up the next day feeling kind of weird still, but I talked with Tony and Isaac and his brother for a while, and I remember Isaac said he lost one of his Benadryl, and I was like, "Oh, dude, you probably lost it in the other dimension that you went to." And Tony and Isaac thought that was pretty funny. But then I went home, and the trip was on Saturday, so I went home and I slept like all of Sunday and woke up on Monday, and I have to say, I had the best afterglow I've ever had from DXM. Like, I literally woke up on a school day and said, "I think today is going to be a great day," like out loud to myself. Like, I felt that good, and I've never done that, like, even not on a school day. And I remember school was super fun. I had so much fun, like, talking to my friends and talking to the teachers and stuff. But yeah, overall, this trip was great. It was a lot better than my first one. It was my first real trip, and if I could go back and redo any trip again, I think I'd probably do this one just because I miss Isaac's comfy ass basement and the vibe of just being super fucking dissociated there. It was really chill. So yeah, this will be a trip I remember forever, and I'm just glad I had it. But if you're confused or anything, or you just want to research more, I'm gonna put some info and some research links about DXM in the description. And I'm also gonna put the song title and a link to my Discord server if you want to join. My Discord server is pretty dead, but if you want to talk there or just add me from there, you can, and hopefully I can get some more people in it. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.